The Queen has died peacefully at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, and her son is now King Charles III. The United Kingdom will now enter a 10-day period of mourning as the King returns to London on Friday. Watch live updates and historic coverage on 7 News and 7plus for more royal family related news and videos. Check out Royal Family. Here is an account of what is expected to happen every day in the lead up to the Queen's funeral in 10 days' time. On the day of her death, Thursday would traditionally have been D-Day or D+0 in the plan for the aftermath of the Queen's death, codenamed London Bridge. But the announcement came late in the day, at 6:31 p.m. local time, on Thursday, September 8th, meaning plans have been shifted a day to allow the complex arrangements to be put in place, meaning D+0 will now be considered to be Friday. The new king had dashed to the Queen's bedside ahead of her death. Charles was joined by the monarch's other children: Anne, Princess Royal, Andrew, Duke of York, and Edward, Earl of Wessex, and her grandson William, Duke of Cambridge, now heir to the throne, with Harry, Duke of Sussex, also travelling there. However, Prince Harry did not make it to his grandmother's bedside ahead of her death. Also at Balmoral are Camilla, the new Queen Consort, and Sophie, Countess of Wessex. The new King and Camilla will remain at Balmoral on Thursday evening and will return to London on Friday. Friday, September 9. Friday is D+0. Although concrete plans are yet to be confirmed by Buckingham Palace, this is what is expected to unfold. The King and Queen Consort will return to London on Friday after staying at Balmoral overnight. Despite his grief, duty calls for new sovereign Charles, and his first audience as monarch with UK Prime Minister Liz Truss is expected to happen as soon as practically possible. Charles will also meet the Earl Marshal, the Duke of Norfolk, who is in charge of the accession and the Queen's funeral, to approve the carefully choreographed schedule for the coming days. The arrangements, codename London Bridge, have long been planned in consultation with the government. They will incorporate Operation Unicorn, the contingency plans for the death of the Queen in Scotland. Charles will decide on the length of court, or royal mourning, for members of the royal family and royal households. It is expected to last a month. The UK government will confirm the length of national mourning, which is likely to be around 12 to 13 days, from now up to the day after the Queen's funeral. They will also announce that the funeral day will be a public holiday in the form of a day of national mourning. The King will also make a televised address to the nation, which he is expected to pre-record. He will pay tribute to the Queen and pledge his duty to his service as the new sovereign. Saturday, September 10 at 10 a.m. on the day after the Queen's death, the Accession Council is expected to meet at St James's Palace in London to formally proclaim Charles as the new sovereign. First, the Privy Council gathers without the King to proclaim the new monarch and arrange business relating to the proclamation. Then Charles joins them to hold his first Privy Council, accompanied by Camilla, Queen Consort, and William, Duke of Cambridge, who are also Privy Councillors, and makes his personal declaration and oath. The first public proclamation of the new sovereign is read in the open air from the Friary Court balcony at St James's Palace by the Garter King of Arms. Proclamations are made around the city and across the country. Union flags go back up to full mast at 1 p.m. and remain there for 24 hours to coincide with the proclamations before returning to half-mast. Charles will also hold an audience with the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. Sunday, September 11, the Queen's coffin is expected to be taken by road to the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. Proclamations will be read in the Scottish, Welsh and Northern Ireland devolved parliaments in Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. Monday, September 12, procession is expected along Edinburgh's Royal Mile to St Giles Cathedral. There is service and the Vigil of the Princes, where senior members of the royal family stand guard around the coffin, by members of the royal family will take place. The public may get the chance to file past the Queen's coffin at a mini lying in state in St Giles. Meanwhile, in London, the House of Commons and the House of Lords are expected to come together in Westminster for a motion of condolence, which the King could attend. After leaving England and visiting Scotland, Charles will at some stage travel to the other countries of the UK, Wales and Northern Ireland, a part of the process known as Operation Springtide. Tuesday, September 13, the coffin is expected to be flown to London and brought to Buckingham Palace. A rehearsal for the procession of the coffin from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster takes place. Wednesday, September 14, the Queen's lying in state is expected to begin in Westminster Hall, Operation Marquee, following a ceremonial procession through London. It will last 4 full days. The Archbishop of Canterbury will conduct a short service following the coffin's arrival. Hundreds of thousands of people will file past the coffin on its catafalque, an ornate raised platform, and pay their respects, just as they did for the Queen Mother's lying in state in 2002. The management of the queues outside is known as Operation Feather. Senior royals are also expected to pay their own moving tribute, standing guard at some stage around the coffin, the tradition known as the Vigil of the Princes. Thursday, September 15, lying in state continues and a rehearsal is likely to take place for the state funeral procession. Friday, September 16, lying in state continues, ending on D+9. Heads of state begin to arrive for the funeral. Monday, September 19, the Queen's state funeral is expected to take place at Westminster Abbey in central London. The original plans are for the Queen's coffin to process on a gun carriage to the Abbey, pulled by naval ratings, sailors, using ropes rather than horses. Senior members of the family are expected to follow behind, just as they did for the funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales and the Duke of Edinburgh. The military will line the streets and also join the procession. Heads of state, prime ministers and presidents, European royals and key figures from public life will be invited to gather in the Abbey, which can hold a congregation of 2,000. The service will be televised, and a national 2-minute silence is expected to be held. The same day as the funeral, the Queen's coffin will be taken to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle for a televised committal service. Later in the evening, there will be a private interment service with senior members of the royal family. The Queen's final resting place will be the King George VI Memorial Chapel, an annex to the main chapel, where her mother and father were buried, along with the ashes of her sister, Princess Margaret. Philip's coffin will move from the royal vault to the memorial chapel to. And finally, thank you all for watching the video. Please like and comment your opinion so we can discuss together. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell to follow and update many other interesting news. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.